Hello, welcome to Stibo Systems Studio. I'm Chase Caulfield, and today I'm here with Jamie Waters. Today we're going to discuss the foundations of a successful MDM journey and customer relationship. Jamie?
Yeah, well, thank you for, having me back into the Stibo studio. Why don't we start off by trying to focus on what the foundational principles are that they must establish. And one of the things that I think I've noticed in working with clients over the past, 10 plus years is the concept of building a relationship between the vendor, the partner, and the client themselves. It can go a lot of different ways. I've had clients that are just like, they make a purchase of the software, and then they're maybe working with a partner, and they're just like, okay, so we're good now. We're going to go off and work on the implementation. I would really recommend that even though it still is a vendor-customer relationship, that there is still a lot of time spent in nurturing that relationship and making sure that the vendor, aka us in this case, Stibo Systems, are heavily involved in an ongoing dialogue with you about what your strategy is, where you're going, what your challenges are, et cetera. So that's one of the elements that I see different in some different customers is some are a little bit, we've made the purchase already, right, and we're now good to go on our own, and we'll give you a call when we have some issues.
I think it's a good point, right? Like, obviously, we're an organization that has to provide revenue, and there has to be salespeople, but at the same time, we have to see those implementations be successful.
Right.
It's not just, I'm here to make a transaction and move on. There's a deeper, beyond the transaction, right? I mean, there's justification for why are we doing this as an organization? Why Stibo Systems? Why the partner that we're going to, work with as well?
I think it's a fine line. I've seen some customers that are a little bit, hey, we don't want to share too much because obviously you are a vendor and you're trying to look to try and make a transaction, right? We're all in this for money, as you know, or at least to make sure that our businesses are successful. So those ones that kind of let their guard down a little bit and build a relationship and start to form some trust with us, and that takes time, obviously, right? I think it takes time from both the Stibo side as well as the customer side as well. So, but I think it reaps benefits.
For sure, and I think the thing that's really important is, really setting expectations, both the customer coming with expectations that they, things that they want to see out of it, things they want to even see out of the relationship. But I think at the same time, we can help guide as well, because we've seen both implementations that go south and ones that go swimmingly. And we've discussed some of those things like communication and such. But I think if you were to say, is there anything in regards to expectation setting that you find important with a customer?
I do. At some customers I've seen maybe underestimate the amount of effort, challenge, change management, investment it may take to actually have a successful MDM roadmap strategy. And again, want to be very, very open here. We all recognize that there are limitations on resources, budgets, prioritizations that businesses have to make. That's a given. We understand that, but that sometimes there is a little bit of a misset expectation of, I've bought the software, I think it's turnkey. I think that we should just be able to install it. We're working with this person over here, or we have this smart internal person that is very knowledgeable about software, and they're just going to run with it, and away we go. It's a much larger program than that, right? I mean, as you know, it actually takes into account a lot of business objectives, right? That's one of the things that we want to talk about a little bit, is tying the outcome to business objectives and stuff as well. So I think that expectation setting is key.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that multiple times where that's seemingly out of touch, where we're having all these deep technical conversations or these business process conversations, but still not having that executive alignment. Again, they're not going to, really squash what we're trying to accomplish or gatekeep to any degree. But a lot of times when it comes from the people signing the check, right? They want to know also from an executive to executive perspective, what else have you done? What other customers have you worked with? And really just get what's our vision for Stibo, as well as what are they trying to do as their customer leader. It just makes sense to get some of that alignment. So, we can hear what some of their concerns are, what some of the things that they're trying to accomplish, so that we can also potentially change our strategy if we need to, and be cognizant of what's going back and kind of get that continual feedback loop, not only from the technical folks doing the business daily to, again, key stakeholders internally, but also from an executive perspective, really aligning and hearing what our customers want and need, and trying to feed that back into our product and services.
But I actually had a conversation with a customer just last night, and he was talking about the challenges he's facing internally between the different business areas of his organization in terms of getting alignment around, this is what should be there. This is what shouldn't be there. We need this many attributes. You guys only have the one attribute. We need this many, etc. And he made a good point that ultimately, at the end of the day, he's a VP, so he has the wherewithal to hear them out, try and have a dialogue with them and stuff, but ultimately a decision has to be made.
Yeah.
Because he was finding that for the longest time, the lack of a decision in some of these instances was costing them more than actually just making a decision, measuring the risk reward, and trying to see if it is, and just making the decision and moving forward. As opposed to saying, well, I guess we're going to have another, month of meetings on this, or we're going to have to bring in maybe an external partner to try and help us with this. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that he was very adamant that sometimes you need to measure that risk and make a decision.
It's the old cost of doing nothing, right?
Right.
I mean, the salesperson's worst fear is not choosing a competitor, it's doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because we spent all of this time working, again, us or other vendors or whoever spent all this time building, credibility with people within their business or within their IT or even executive alignment or introducing them to other customers. And to do all of this work and then to decide to do nothing is just so disheartening.
Yeah. So I guess the point is you're not going to make all parties happy,
of course.
I guess, in an MDM situation, right? So the other case I've seen a lot of times is where the MDM implementation team maybe goes to the business and say, how do you work today? Yeah. And let's try and make the MDM solution, whether it's product solution, customer solution, supplier solution, et cetera. Let's amend that to make sure that it adheres to how you work today.
Yeah.
And in some cases, there's good, but in a lot of cases, there's bad in that. Because in some cases, you're kind of round peg, square holing what the solution can do.
Yeah. I was going to say, when it comes to some of those like no decision things, or again, sometimes it's this interesting intersection of master data management, or MDM, is so, and data management in general, data governance and so on, it's so seemingly like this large thing that has to happen, and you have to check all the boxes to make sure that you're doing all the right things before you make this investment.
Yep.
But I think one thing that we could also help our customers understand more is that you can also chunk it out and start small, right? You can start with a smaller implementation, essentially, and really focus on like one part of the business. Like, you don't have to do it all. The goal, I think, for us is really to take them conversationally even, or education wise, is on that journey of where do you want to start? We know we want to be here, but I think if we start somewhere, with the business, like let's talk about that business problem. Let's see if we can solve that today. And then, knowing like a platform like Stibo's is so expansive in terms of all you can do with it. I think with that, the thing that's very positive there, specifically for this customer and multiple others of ours that have been with us for so long, they've been there through the development of what we've got today, but also they've been pivotal in helping us develop that. Literally listening to all the feedback that they've given, or enhancement requests, or again, this leadership to leadership conversation, or what we're seeing in the industry as well. So I think there's lots of things that customers can do a right way or a wrong way. But I think at the end of the day, what we're really trying to get across is that, communication is key, and transparency. Sure, we want to do business with you, and yes, there's a financial aspect to it, but really the success of the customer is the ultimate goal, no matter what that is, whether that's big project, small project. We just want it successful so that everybody's happy. And
they stay with us.
And
they stay with us, right? In the SaaS world, I know that we're talking enterprises here still, so you can't just flip a switch and jump to another vendor. But in a SaaS world, it's a lot easier for customers to say, I'm not happy. And I'm going to move on and maybe explore other software. So we want you to be happy, and that's why that transparency and that relationship with us is going to be helpful to help us understand.
Well, Jamie, I do want to thank you for your time today. I know this has been a really broad conversation, discussing multiple topics about how our customers can be successful in their MDM journeys. And at the end of the day, we're here to help have them be successful. Obviously, we would like to be successful in that, and we can't be unless we have that relationship with them.
Agreed.
So thanks for watching. Please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the Stibo Systems channel. Thanks.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, subscribe to the Stibo Systems YouTube channel.